He joins us now. Congressman, I'm sure you're going to ask him questions about censoring conservative speech, but I do hope you'll ask him questions about this censorship vehicle that they're getting ready for China.
Yes, because once it's perfected in China, it will be worth a gold mine in America, in Europe, anywhere else. And you mentioned George Orwell's Big Brother. I've been saying for a long time now, the only thing Orwell got wrong was the year. Otherwise, he was right on track. But look, Google has repeatedly sold their souls, and that's your editorial is dead on right. They want the 1.2 billion or so folks in China, part of their system, and they've been willing to literally sell their soul. And you mentioned Orwell. It also reminds me of another George Soros, because Google is born in a free country, and then they go over and oppress others, help oppress in another country. George Soros was supposed to be Jewish, but you wouldn't know it from the damage he's inflicted on Israel and the fact that he turned on fellow Jews and helped take the property that they own. This same kind of thing. Google coming from a free country and helping oppress. But China's been oppressing for a while. I mean, I've emailed with people over there. Well,
what can you do? I mean, you're on the Judiciary Committee. You're interviewing Sundar Pichai. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah. Well, for one thing, and this is something I've got a bill, and I wish we could get it. I'm still hoping we could do something with it. I'm not big on massive new regulations on these providers on the internet, but I do want them vulnerable. At one time, they proudly proclaimed, look, we're just a town square, we just provide a plaza where you can come. Well, now we know their algorithms, they filter like crazy. And they've taken money from people to move people up, and then they moved them down. What we've got to do is make them vulnerable to class action lawsuits from the people that they've screwed over, they've defrauded by not doing what they said. And I think some billion-dollar judgments against them will get their attention more than some flaky regulations.
Is a change in the law required?
Yes, it is.
To put
because
liability
they're protected. They're protected, and we've got to remove that and say if they use algorithms to change the order of anything, that's basically what my bill says.
Would you get any support from the Democrats for this?
I would hope so, and especially next week. I can't ever say for sure because sometimes they go directly against things that they have been so strongly for, like civil rights when it comes to privacy and things. If it's Donald Trump's privacy, then they're all for violating every civil right he has. But hopefully there'll be a little bit of consistency among the Democrats on this issue. Jerry Nadler, sometimes he's strong on civil rights and sometimes he abandons it for the cause of the Democrats. So we'll see next week.
We shall.
But let me also say right quick about the economy. You spent a great deal of time, appropriately, but I hear people say the economy and the stock market interchangeably. They're not the same. There are people that are doing well. There were people that were suffering terribly under Obama, but Obama would point and say, look, see, the stock market is doing great, so everything's good. No, people were suffering, but you can't go by the stock market alone or whatever their programs use to buy and sell as being determinative of how people are doing in America.
Fair
point. I hope that we'll make that distinction.
And I think we should make that distinction. Well said.
Yeah, well, thank you, Stuart.
I'm sorry. I'll make the distinction. That's a promise. Thank you, Louie Gohmert. Always good.